My people, yawa don gas between Governor Seyi Mankinde and Pablo Escobar. As Seyi Mankinde come out, say to Pablo Escobar, Tinubu he say you dey lie. I can't say this in good English, so that's why they do for pidgin English. He said you dey lie, stop deceiving Nigerians. As he talk and Nasarawa state governor followed him, another governor followed him. Do you know why they attack Pablo Escobar? In that broadcast, okay, he released recently, he alleged that he gave so amount of billions to governors to, to help the masses, okay, their state, you understand, to fight poverty and the rest. They said he didn't give them a cent. But the one that gladdens my heart, this Yoruba governor Seyi Mankinde was the first that came out to say to him, say Taba, you lie. Guys, please, if you are a lover of truth, before you watch this video, just give it a thumbs up so that Facebook and YouTube can recommend. Please share this video. If you not share this, watch the video to the end. If I lie, you will know. If you not share this video, you'll be enemy of Nigeria. Watch and see for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve, OJ, and that sister. Thank you. Good morning. Happy Sunday.
Thank you. Thank you indeed. All right, let's talk. Adesua is also here, looking radiant. All right, I'm sure that you've been following the brickbat between the federal government and the state government. And of course, it all stemmed from the speech, the statewide, nationwide address by President Bola Tinubu in the course of the protest, the 10-day protest, whereby he said that part of what his administration has done is to disburse a total of about 573 billion naira to state governments, and that people should also find a way to make their states accountable in all this noise regarding hunger, regarding hardship, etc. But of course, as you know, Governor Seyi Mankinde of Oyo State was the first to come out to say that nothing of the sort happened. Nasarawa has joined, Osun State has joined, Abia State, all claiming that federal government didn't dish out any grant to them, that what they got was part of the NG Cares intervention, which was a World Bank assisted loan that states will be required to repay as part of the monetary, to take care of their needs, certain part of their need because of COVID-19. Where is the truth, Dr. Amadi? Was the president misled in his address, or are we just simply playing politics again?
Well, thank you very much for having me. Again, I think there are three issues I would like to focus on here. First is that we don't expect a high presidential speech of such critical importance, addressing the nation as a way of ending national protests, that we will have basic facts of presidential action being disputed. So it will now have what looks like a presidential lie, and that's not a good moment for the president to lie, not just about recollection of facts. I was in Oyo, or I was in Owerri on 12th of September. Well, it didn't go there. Those are minor, or maybe an expression of opinion or self-description for purpose of political capital that didn't turn out to be true. That speaks to the president's maybe honesty. But this is about intervention, huge intervention that the president claimed to have made as part of addressing the hunger and the challenges that provoked this national protest. So to have it in the presidential speech speaks to a mindset of, one can say, fraud. I mean, whether the presidential speechwriters themselves, who embedded that fact and shaped it to be like, look, Mr. President has actually been responding to these concerns by advancing this amount of money for states to deal with the outcome of these policies we're making. So in a sense, the president kind of rebuts the presumption against him that say, look, this is evidence. I've been doing what you tell me to do. And again, push back to the states. The states have failed to deliver these palliatives. If they have done so, maybe the hunger question would have been less, and the problem would no. So it's like being a court and adducing false evidence to prove your innocence. So in the public court, the president brought what's now turned out to be false claim to make a case. So it damages the case made, but it speaks more to the temper and the morality of the people behind the presidency in terms of how desperate and what degree of falsehood they can marshal to exonerate themselves. Again, it's like the president is also kind of, putting the state governors at risk. So, I mean, if state governors really received this amount of money for intervention to deal with hunger, which is not project-based money, then the question is, why didn't they, distribute it? Why didn't we see the impact? So, in other words, the presidential minders kick the can, say, guys, you are facing the wrong guy. This guy has done everything he could do. Look at the state governors. They're the ones who caused this problem. They're the ones whose failure of governance results in what we are facing today. And so if that was true, then the president has made a case why we should now, pivot to the state governors as the villains in this case. Right, so the governors are right to, mildly fight back. So for me, it was an error. It was a tactical, defense. Good. Go ahead. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, Dr. Sam Amade, I'm sorry to interrupt you here because, you've used two very strong words to describe what the president had said. You said it, appears to be a presidential lie and even fraud. Mm-hmm. But the federal government, through the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning, had put out an ad on July 22nd, to be specific, on This Day newspaper, announcing the reimbursement of 438 billion naira of this World Bank intervention loan to 34 states and the FCT. That's with the exception of Anambra and Kaduna. I have that ad right in front of me. And they say it's under a COVID-19 recovery plan, NG Cares. It's a program for results whereby states had to use their money to advance and to implement the program. They say the loan was given to states after the World Bank had verified the amount spent by each state, and the purpose of that loan was to help each state expand access to livelihood support of their citizens, that is also to assist in food security services and grants, pay attention, grants to poor and vulnerable households. The president, in his speech had said that more than 570, this is what he said, and I quote, more than 570 billion has been released to 36 states to expand livelihood support to their citizens. That's all he said in that statement. That's what he said. And, now he says it's 36 states. In that ad, I saw 34 states, and it was, a little lower than 570. It was 438. So we're assuming that maybe the other two states left out has been included. That's yet to be fact-checked. And you're hearing your state governor, Seyi Mankinde, saying that, his announcement was a misrepresentation of facts because the states are only being reimbursed funds that they have already invested. Now, how is it misrepresentation when the federal government itself actually had announced the same intervention, explaining exactly what Seyi Mankinde had said? How is this misrepresentation?
So let me answer very quickly. I mean, I think it's good you brought the facts. It actually refers to my position. Now, look at it. A reimbursement presupposes a spend. So the states are being reimbursed. Many of those states, of course, the way government works, sometimes, loans and debts and all that. Okay, fine. Now, that's an advert for a program or a publication for a program which the World Bank, paid states. So states have an entitlement. The federal government, look at how it works. The presidency as the sole...
It's the same exact program.
It's state program.
Yeah.
No, the point I'm making is that that's not the presidential speech. The content of the presidential speech is a reflection of what government has done to deal with the outcome of the policies they are challenging. So that's why I use the word very carefully. I said, if that speech, there are many programs state governors have gotten loans for different things. And by the way, nobody should take the state government from responsibility because governance is subnational in the main. The point I'm making is that in a presidential speech where you passing off, the pass off here was that in response to all these things, this is what we've done. we've done, not what the World Bank has done or what they said entitled to. Federal government do give refunds, and because they are the point I'm making, that the federal government is the gateway to the states. Under constitutional law, the sole organ is the president. So even if states have legitimate entitlement from international organizations or foreign bodies, they pass to the federal government. Now, back to today's issue, the question then is, it seems to me, and this could be debatable, that it was passed off as one of the things that the federal government has done in its program of, the federal government has announced after the removal of fuel subsidy, series of programs, interventions to deal with the crisis of hunger and the crisis of loss of livelihood that accompany those policies. So it was pushed as if this is something the states have received for the federal government as federal government program. Now, there are two different things. The federal government develops programs which they mandate states to implement, and I think we'll get to that. Those programs are guided by policy and law, and they create entitlement for citizens, and you presage them with announcements so citizens know that this is federal program, be it administered by state or local government or even by private or non-profits. Those are federal programs. A World Bank reimbursement to states is an entitlement of the states, presupposing that the states have made investment or borrowed to deliver projects which the World Bank considers important and reimbursing them. So the point I'm making is that when I use the word potential lie, it doesn't necessarily mean that they cooked up figures. It means that you've passed off this as part of what you have done. And again, the bigger question here is, why should we, tie, yes, the World Bank loan or World Bank support is part of a socio-economic intervention in a global sense. But the real question here, and I think that's what the principal should be addressing. So first, it's not a lie that the state governor says, you didn't give us money for anything, you gave us back our refund from the World Bank. So that is settled, that what the federal government gave was a refund, not a federal project to intervene, even though the impact could be the same. So this is important for presidential communication. Because for me, the context of the presidential speech, which we have all criticized, is that it was supposed to be a response to the demands of the protesters. And it came across as, this is just what we have done in response to what they did. But it not came out to be, this is actually funds that we have advanced on behalf of the World Bank to states who are entitled to. So I think, for me, yes, the word lie does not mean that, like I said, it's not like a fact. It's like going to court and proving your innocence by contextualizing transactions that are not fit for that transaction. So you can take an event that happened in a different context and present it as if this is something that, and that's what the states are responding. I mean, if the federal government has said, well, we have advanced to the state the World Bank loan, which the World Bank guaranteed to them, we've done that, the states will not come back and say, no, you didn't give us money. Everybody saw this as money that should have been used within this period as part of federalized intervention to do with the outcome of the policies, and it is not. And that's the context in which I said they have now put the states at risk of attack. Yeah, that's the point.
I mean, yeah, you are spot on, Dr. Sam Amadi, with that. Passing it off as if it is their, grant. Because the governor of Nasarawa State, like Steve had highlighted, last week said that, the World Bank loan was for infrastructural projects and not for palliatives, and that the loan was an interest-free loan initiated back in 2020. Therefore, the loan predates the Tinubu administration. In fact, the first loan disbursement was done even before Tinubu became president in May 2023. But, when you look at the reimbursement announcement, this back in July, the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning gave that impression that you are saying. They said that the program was made possible because of the various policy reforms introduced by President Tinubu, which enabled states to invest heavily in the program. In fact, the ministry said, and let me quote here, that NG Cares is one of the social protection programs that are implementing the tenets of the Renewed Hope agenda. I mean, this is the question a lot of people are asking. Why would you make such a statement, this semantics to deceive Nigerians? That's the question.
Absolutely. I think the answer to that question is, look, you govern according to your social psychology. This government really is a strong government on politics and propaganda. Propaganda, quote unquote, it doesn't mean falsehood. But it means that there is you use communication to solve technical and managerial problem. If you're not driving your policy well, oh, everything is under the mantra of renewed hope. So you see talking point around renewed hope. And so this deception is a product of that mental fixation around propagandizing. Look, they don't need to do that. This is not part of any renewed hope intervention. This is something that predates your government. And so governance runs, some of the bureaucratic things are not politically visible. They are part of transactions for years. And so government run them as routine administrative work. But then you have to speak to what you are doing in terms of policy. So it seems to me that the inability to really, first, inability to create policies that are transformative, and inability to explain these policies in the way that they show how government is transforming